Hello and welcome to Speaking with Stephen. In this series we're taking a deep dive into some of the most prominent words in motivational speaking. I have deliberately not made captions for this video because reading while listening will not improve your core listening skills. You must train your ear, that's the whole point. If you're sitting at B2 and wondering why you can't break through to C1, the reason probably is the idiomatic usage of word and learning collocations. So that's where this series comes in. It aims to teach you those and get you mastering them. Okay, let's look at the first one now. The first one is find your purpose and sense of purpose. To find your purpose means to discover the specific thing that gives you life and work genuine meaning. Not what you are good at, not what pays you well, but what you would do regardless of the outcome. It's so much stronger than simply having a goal. A goal is a destination. Purpose is the reason you are moving at all. You will hear this everywhere in the motivational speaking, coaching world and in leadership. Next up, a sense of purpose means a felt awareness that what you are doing matters, that it connects to something larger than the immediate task. It is more subtle than simply finding your purpose. You may not be able to do it precisely, but you will be able to do it eventually. Okay? He didn't just work hard, he found his purpose, and that sense of purpose carried him through everything he did. Okay, let's have a look at it on the screen now. Didn't just work hard, he found his purpose, and that sense of purpose carried him through everything that followed. Okay, let's mix it up and level it up now. We've got two gaps there. What would be good C1 words in there? I went for sustained and ensued. Okay, let's look at that vocabulary now. To sustain actually means to keep something alive and functioning over a prolonged period, just like how a river sustains an entire ecosystem, not through any single traumatic act, but through this kind of consistent, unceasing flow. Okay. So to ensue means to happen afterwards as a direct consequence. Just like how silence ensues when someone says something that changes the entire atmosphere of a room. Okay, so that's ensue. Okay, next up it's your turn. Have a look at the question on the screen now. Tell me about a moment when you found your sense of purpose. What shifted? It didn't arrive dramatically. I wasn't standing on a mountaintop. I was sitting in a meeting that had nothing to do with what I actually cared about, and I thought, I cannot keep doing this. That's when I found it. Not by searching, by elimination. Lovely jubbly. Okay, next in context. Driven by purpose. This means purpose is the force behind everything you do. Not ambition, not money, and not even recognition, but a deep sense that what you are doing matters. It is much stronger than simply being motivated. Motivation can come and go. I'm sure we can all relate to that. Purpose is structural. You will hear this in leadership, entrepreneurship, and high performance contexts. To see the bigger picture means to understand the broader context and long-term significance of a situation beyond its immediate details. Is one of the most important cognitive skills in professional life, and you will again hear this in strategy, leadership, and problem-solving context. Okay, let's try and chant it out. She was driven by purpose long before the results came because she never lost sight of the bigger picture. Okay, try one more time, this time with it on the screen. Okay, let's mix it up. What would be good in those two gaps? Okay, I went for tangible and overarching. Let's dig into those words now. Tangible actually means real and concrete, enough to be perceived or measured. Just like how the difference between a promise and a contract is that a contract produces something tangible. You can point to it. Overarching, encompassing everything else and forming the structure above and around all other considerations. Just like how the roof of a building overarches everything beneath it. Holding the whole thing together. Okay, now it's your turn. Take a look at the question and give it a go. Tell me about the time you stayed driven by purpose when the results weren't there. How did you keep the bigger picture in mind? There was a 2-year period where nothing visible was happening. No recognition, no traction, no evidence it was working. What kept me going was a very clear sense of why I was doing it. Not what I was building, but why. Driven by purpose looks unglamorous from the outside. From the inside, it is the only thing that makes sense. Okay, just a quick word from me now. Learning from online content is a fantastic way to level up your English, but it does have its limitations. The biggest one? There's no feedback loop. Nobody telling you when your pronunciation slips, when your answers lose structure, when you reach for the safe word instead of the ambitious one. If you genuinely want to break through to the next level, not just understand advanced English, but also produce it consistently under pressure, you need time with a real coach. Someone who pushes back, corrects in real time, and holds you to a higher standard than you would hold yourself. Check the description below for exclusive offers and ways to work with us directly. Okay. Okay, next in context now. Clarity of purpose means knowing with precision what you are doing and why. No ambiguity, no competing motivations, no internal contradiction. It is much more specific than simply having a purpose. You can have a purpose and still feel unclear about how it translates into daily decisions. Clarity of purpose means the connection between your values and your actions is completely transparent. Light at the end of the tunnel means a sign that a difficult situation is finally coming to an end, that relief, resolution, or a solution is approaching, even if it hasn't arrived yet. It comes from this image of being inside a long dark tunnel and finally seeing daylight in the distance. You'll hear this in personal and professional context. Alright, let's try and chant it now. The clarity of purpose came slowly, but once it arrived, there was finally light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, one more time with it on the screen now. Okay, let's try and level up those words now in the remix. What would be good in those gaps? Okay, I went for discernible and purposeful. Two lovely words. This time, let's dig into them now. Okay, discernible, perceptible to the senses after careful attention. Yes. For example, a faint sound in a noisy room becomes discernible only when you stop and listen specifically for it. Purposeful means the intention behind something is very clear. Just like the difference between walking and marching is that marching is purposeful. Every step's deliberate. Okay, your turn now. The question is, tell me about a period where clarity of purpose felt distant. What eventually gave you the light at the end of the tunnel? The hardest part wasn't the difficulty, it was the absence of clarity, not knowing whether what I was doing was the right thing or just the habitual thing. The light at the end of the tunnel didn't appear suddenly, it became discernible gradually, a direction rather than a destination. Okay, nice. Some usage there. Let's look at the next in context now. To live with purpose means to conduct your life in deliberate alignment with what matters most to you. Every significant decision filtered through whether it moves you towards or away from what you actually care about. It's not a passive state, it requires constant recalibration. To lose sight of your purpose means to become so absorbed in the immediate demands of your life that you forget why you started. The original meaning gets buried under urgency, obligation, and noise. And finally, to know which way the wind blows means to understand the direction things are moving before others do, to read the situation accurately and position yourself accordingly. All of these you will hear in business, in politics, and in strategy. Okay. He lived with purpose until the pressure came, and that is when he lost sight of everything that had driven him. Okay, there it is on the screen now. Okay, we're going to mix that up now. Have a look at those gaps. What would be nice C1 words in there? Okay, I went for anchored and sustained. Let's dig into those words now. Anchor means to hold something firmly in place. Of course it does. So that's against the force of an external pressure, just like a ship's anchor. It stops the sea from moving, but it doesn't stop the sea from moving, but it prevents the vessel from drifting with it. To sustain means to keep something alive and functioning over a prolonged period, just like how the river sustains an entire ecosystem, not through that single dramatic act, but through consistent, unceasing flow. Okay, it's your turn now. The question is, tell me about a time when you lose sight of your purpose, and how did you find your way back? Twice, both times gradually. Both times I recognized it in retrospect. When I looked back and realized I had been going through the motions for months without knowing which way the wind was blowing. Coming back to purpose is not dramatic either. It's a quiet recalibration, a decision to stop drifting. Okay, it's your turn now in the 2-minute questions. Take a look at them on the screen now. Start with number 1 and restart the timer, then number 2, and so on. Okay, example answers now. There was a period in my early 30s when everything looked purposeful from the outside. Good title, good salary, good trajectory, and I was completely hollow inside. Living with purpose requires brutal honesty about the difference between what looks like a good life and what actually feels like yours. Most people spend years optimizing for the former without ever asking for the latter. The period I genuinely lived with purpose was messier, less well paid, harder to explain at dinner parties, but there was a quality of aliveness to it that I had never been able to manufacture any other way. That is the difference. Purpose does not make life easier, it makes it yours. Nice. Okay, gonna move on to number 2 now. If you haven't answered number 2 yet, please restart the timer. Okay, example answer number 2 coming up now. Yes, and it arrived in the most inconvenient possible moment. I was in the middle of a project I didn't believe in a role I had outgrown, trying to find clarity of purpose through analysis and reflection and journaling and every deliberate method available. And then I was on a train looking out of the window at nothing in particular, and it arrived, completely unbidden. A sudden, ambiguous sense of what I was supposed to be doing and why. I thought about that moment many times since. Clarity of purpose does not come when you force it, it comes when you stop forcing it. Conditions for it are stillness, not effort. Very nice. Move on to question 3 now. If you haven't answered question 3 yet, please restart the timer. Okay, here is the answer. Example answer for question 3. 3 things. First, the people who knew me before I lost it, the ones who remember who I was when I was most alive, they are the most reliable mirrors when I have stopped being able to see myself clearly. Second, the work that made me lose track of time, not the successful work, not the well-compensated work, the work I would do for nothing. That is always the clearest signal of where purpose actually lives. And third, the question I ask myself when I am at my most honest, not what do I want, but what would I regret having done, not having done. That question has never given me a wrong answer. It has only ever given me an answer I was not ready to act on yet. We are finished for today. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments below, and please check out the description of this video. There is links to certain ways that you can work with trained professionals such as myself, which is the ultimate solution if you want to improve your speaking. There's also exclusive promotions, so please check them out. Goodbye for now. See you in the next one.